Hello and welcome to Jason Talks Board Games. I am Jason Peacock. Let me start things off with some exciting news I got wind of this week, and that's Monolith, the makers of Conan and Mythic Battles, announced their next project launching on Kickstarter. Batman the board game. This is based on the Conan engine. Now, I am extremely excited about this game. Conan is probably my second favorite game right behind Blood Rage. I love it. It's so exciting when I play it. My brain just lights up. So, Batman the board game, sign me right up. Now, I don't think we're actually going to see this launched in 2017. An insider who works with Monolith told me that they will not be launching until the backers of Mythic Battles get their pledges. So, even if Mythic Battles launches on time, I don't see backers getting it until Christmas time, so I'm predicting January, February of next year before the Kickstarter launches. I'll keep you updated if I hear any news otherwise. Another bit of gaming news I wanted to mention is Ignacy Trzewiczek and Eric Lang working on something together. There is no hint of what this could be, but just the fact those two are working together has got me excited. So, let's get into what I've been playing lately. Start things off with one of my favorite games from last year. If you watch my favorite games of 2016 that I linked onto my Dice Tower playlist down below, check it out. Number 10 or 9 was Clank, the deck building game. It's a dungeon delving game. Competitive. It's got your standard deck building setup. You've got 10 of the same cards, and you're buying from a market row. You flop down your hand every round, and you do different things based on your cards, such as moving through the dungeon, using sword icons to fight enemies in the trade row, or monster symbols on the pathways you're walking through. The unique thing about Clank is the dragon that runs around the dungeon attacking people by way of noise cubes. As you make noise from certain cards, like stumbling or some of the more powerful items will create Clank. That's where you take some of your cubes and you put it in the dragon bag. And then anytime the dragon symbol appears in the trade row at the end of the turn, you reach into this bag and you draw out cubes based on how powerful the dragon happens to be. There is a bunch of black cubes which don't hurt anyone, but if your own color gets drawn, you add that to your hit points. You can get killed, and if a player gets killed, that also starts the end of the game timer. The idea is to get down, grab an artifact, and then get back out on the surface. Once one player has left the surface, then the timer starts. There's 4 or 5 rounds left. Everybody needs to get at least above ground just to count their score. If you happen to escape, you get a 20-point bonus. The game is so simple, fun, welcoming. It's family weight. And playing with a friend of mine and my son last week, one of the best gaming experiences I ever had. I just love Clank, and my love for it grows with every play. My son ended up winning that game. I'm really looking forward to the underwater expansion to see how that spices the game up. Next game, Robinson Crusoe. After hearing good things about this for a couple years now, I finally got the new edition, and I played it with my son. We played a couple of games. Now, this game is super hard. I tweeted out that I was playing this, and Ignacy Trzewiczek, the designer, tweeted back, "How did you die?" Not, "Did you win?" or "How well did you do?" He wanted to know how we died, and with good reason. After the game ended, I tweeted back that we died from horrible winter blizzards. This game is really hard. It's sort of a worker placement game. You're putting your action pawns on different locations on a map of the island. You're either exploring the island, or you're trying to build shelter, or you're trying to use tools to build inventions to help. There's 7 different scenarios that come with the game, and they all have different win conditions. Now, the next game I'm going to talk about kind of reminds me of Robinson Crusoe, and that is Dead of Winter. This is a game I just love. I just haven't played it that often lately. When the game first came out, we played with another couple probably half a dozen times. And when the new Long Night expansion came out, I've only had one play of that since it came out. But my brother's son, my nephew, spent the weekend hanging out with my son. Dead of Winter is his favorite game. He is 11 years old. He convinced my son, who's 8, to try it. Now, Hayden's always been, not his thing with Dead of Winter. When I explained to him that this is kind of like Robinson Crusoe with zombies, he decided to give it a try. Now, what we did is we played without a trader. We still played the normal rules, but we didn't deal any trader cards in. And that was just so my son can get a feel for how the game plays. And it did end up winning him over in the end. So Robinson Crusoe is great. I'm looking forward to exploring this more. I've only played the first scenario twice now. I don't know if I should just keep playing this until I win or just start testing out other scenarios. But my son is a huge fan of this as well. He loves these kind of games. So Robinson Crusoe, another winner from Portal Games. It's got me very much stoked for his Mars version of this. First Martians. We've got Santorini, this awesome abstract strategy game, and it's so the board and the pieces are so thematic. It's almost not an abstract game because you're moving a worker around a small gridded board and you're building up little buildings. If you can build a 3rd floor piece and jump onto it, you win the game. That's all you got to do. There's a deck of 50 cards, including the expansion of different god powers, and these can all give you little special abilities. One of them could be that if you move onto an edge space, you can move an extra space on your turn. If you build below you, you can build a building on top of a guy, remove him from a game. And I mean, there's 50 different ones here. There's some hero powers that are similar, not quite as powerful, but they're one-time use. There's a Golden Fleece variant. It plays 3-4 players. It plays teams. The game plays anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. It's beautiful, and I just love it. If this came out in 2016, it would probably be making some Game of the Year lists. And I would expect to see it at the end of this year. This game is a masterpiece. A good thing about this is I'm playing this all the time with my 8-year-old son. He can win sometimes, but you can even play with younger kids, and it's so easy to give them an advantage, like a handicap. Try giving someone the Medusa power, and that's the one where you can build a building on top of someone, and don't play with a god power at all. This can make really hard-fought games between, like a 5-6-year-old and an adult. Santorini, beautiful, elegant, fun, so much variety. Can't say enough good things about this game. Santorini. Arcadia Quest Inferno. I got the Kickstarter. Arcadia Quest is a game that my son, my 8-year-old son, I've got another one who's 2, my wife and I played 4 or 5 campaigns. I played a campaign with Hayden, my son, my brother, and his son, and it's just such a wonderful, fun game. You're moving these highly detailed miniatures around these different scenarios. You've got to accomplish at least one of the player versus environment quests set up. And this can be any number of different things, such as opening a door and getting a gem inside. And then one of your quests, or 2 of your quests, you have to complete 3 quests to win, is simply killing a player from another guild. The fun part about this game is the leveling up afterwards. You're playing through a campaign. Now, there are rules just to play one-and-done scenarios. But you're playing through a campaign afterwards. You get to spend the gold you make from the previous scenario and buy new weapons and upgrades. And then start customizing your own team. And you're watching these guys get more powerful as the game goes on. It's amazing fun. We got the first scenario played of that. I started painting up some of the characters. Like I said, just one play, but it's more Arcadia Quest goodness. It's got the the hell theme with the angels and the demons, so that's great. Bring it on. If you keep making Arcadia Quest games, I'm going to keep buying them because I just love it. I've got a pretty large list of games to talk about, but I don't think I'm going to put them all in this video. The last one was too long. It was about half an hour of me rambling on. So I'm going to do 2 more games. First, Hero Realms. Now, Star Realms is a perennial favorite of my wife and I. We've played it dozens of times. We played it on the iPad when I was working out of town. And Hero Realms, pretty much the same thing, just with the fantasy theme. You've got these character packs, though, which gives you your own personalized 10-card starting deck, and a couple of special ability cards you can use. It's really cool. Now, it is Star Realms with a different skin on it, but I think it's got a slightly different feel because if you know Star Realms, the bases are cards that stay in play, and they give you a benefit from round to round to round. Hero Realms, the characters or the heroes fill that same role with the bases. However, it seems there's a lot more of these in the deck. It's more like the dynamic is a little bit different on this game. And I like Hero Realms. I like Star Realms. I don't like this any less. I might like it a bit more. It doesn't bring anything phenomenally new to the table, but a great dueling, quick-to-play deck builder. It's great. The last one I'm going to talk about is Masmorra, Dungeons of Arcadia. This is another cool mini or not game in the Arcadia Quest universe. I was excited. I got the Kickstarter, played a game at my brother's. The first 5-10 minutes, I was just loving the mechanic of rolling your dice, allocating those symbols on your card to do different things like walking around the dungeon, attacking monsters, picking locks. And then you have special abilities, so you can use like a bow symbol and a sword symbol to get this cool, awesome power that only your hero has. But the game really overstays its welcome, drags too long. Some of the timing rules are finicky. I don't like the fact that all the monsters are dice instead of monsters. At least I can use all of the characters because they've got crossover cards for Arcadia Quest. But my son really does like this game. He'll probably ask to play it sometimes. I don't hate it or I'll refuse to play it. I'll try and convince him to play something else. But if you watch my Dice Tower review coming up in the next week or two, you'll see that this game is just meh. And that's about the best rating I can give it. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about this time, but I'm going to be following up with another video right away. I'll be talking about The Others, The Walking Dead, All Out War, Conan, Blood Rage, Hit Z Road, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shadows of the Past, and The World of Yoho. So, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Feel free to leave comments, start a discussion down below. Hit me up on Twitter at JaspyLodem and Instagram, same thing. All right, bye everyone.